Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about icons in your suburbs that are often under your nose. And this morning's been explosive for me as a DY agent, rocking around DY for 50 years. And some of the stuff that we learned about heritage and icons, I'm blown away and the relevance to a community. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
The nostalgia queen, Cleo Whitty, expert property manager. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Mark. Going down this historical journey on icons of the beaches. I really love this topic this morning.
Wow. Where do we start?
Um, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. I think when you drive around an area, you go to work, you do all your mundane tasks of the day or whatever, you don't always get to stop and look around. I guess living in the city as well, you walk past all those landmark buildings, but they become like they're part of the background. But you can really look closely and get very nostalgic, and our northern beaches has some real gems, some real historical architecture, and things that you do just drive past and go, oh, I didn't know that about that place. And it's pretty cool, and it comes across
What?
in our property management as well.
Yeah, like some of the stuff born out of the northern beaches that I've learnt this morning. And I think, look, real estate's very close to our hearts. It's shelter over our heads as we were kids or as we bring up our families. So there's there's these structures that are around us that are just so relevant to our society, and you just sort of don't even know they're just there. Um, can we go through and blast through some of the names of your favourite ones?
Sure. For me,
Yeah,
it would
right.
definitely be the Harry Seidler house I used to manage in Newport. Harry Seidler was a modernist architect, and he did commission some homes and holiday homes for the wealthy back in the day. And I had the pleasure of managing one in the Avenue in Newport. It still has its original paint color, and one side was all glass, which was very common for his style of architecture. It was all about light, and as a functional rental, it wasn't as functional, but there were some people that just absolutely had to rent this place because they really, really loved it. So when we select a tenant, they had to be familiar with Harry Seidler, or in some sense that they would appreciate the home and treat it with respect, because it is one of those marvels. And there's actually two in Newport. One that I did an appraisal for to rent, and then the owners decided not to rent it. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Harry Seidler, one of my top one, I would say.
Pay, pay homage to the greats. Look, it always interests me with art and how these people raise to greatness through architecture. And he's certainly one of the greats. And a lot of these guys started on the northern beaches. I know the first development that Meriton did was in DY in Pacific Parade. So there's some pretty cool people that have started, their Fink House. I think it was the Harry Seidler building you're talking about. What else you got? What else you got? What other buildings?
Well, I mean, not so much even architecture, but 1184 Pittwater Road in Collaroy on the South Narrabeen side of Collaroy. It's not an architectural marvel, but it's been there forever. It's divided into 5 or 6 flats, and in the 80s, it was nicknamed Cockroach Castle. You wouldn't know that unless you were a local. And I was only maybe 5 or 6 when my mum's brother was meeting one of his girlfriends there, and I went in there like I wouldn't have known anything else. I was a child, but now when I look at it, it's got a lot of history. And next to that shop was a vintage clothing store called Cherry Blossom, and it's been there forever. And now it's vacant, which is really sad, but it has this iconic mural on the side with the bougainvillea, and you can go and get photos. It's got wings, and it's been there for, since I remember as a kid, since the 90s. And that for me is still an iconic structure, because we all remember it. We've been there. So that's one property on the left on Pittwater Road that you just zoom past on your way to work and you don't even look at.
Unbelievable. What else we got? We've got, I made a list this morning. Windy
DY
drop down the
Library.
DY Library's massive. So DY Library was commissioned by some architects, and it was a little bit of a training ground for some of the stuff that went into Canberra, some iconic buildings that went into Canberra. But you see that building, I was floored when you told me that this morning. Like the relevance to the Civic Centre in DY and the relevance to the DY Library is just, it's massive on the Australian architecture scale. And I've just driven past it forever, used the library as a kid, never thought twice about it.
No, and when you look at the aesthetic, all the dark brick, like, that was just so popular then, and it was really huge buildings, vast spaces, even, I don't know anyone, but even across the road, the police station at DY almost matches the library in that sort of aesthetic. And yeah, like it's quite impressive. I don't think I've been to the library since a very long time. I can't remember the last time I was there. What about Officeworks in DY, Brookvale, DY? It's DY, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that Officeworks building, I think St. Luke's School bought that circa $20-30 million. Used to be the Bonds manufacturing building after it was Top Dog. And then after that, it used to be the Warmwood fire extinguisher manufacturing building. But what a huge structure and a massive icon for the Northern Beaches. It sits right on the second busiest
Warringah.
intersection in Australia.
And it has that really cool old clock and that round circle window. Like, it's so cool. It's very, very cool. And the clock has frozen in time. I don't know what time it is, but it's been like that forever. And you often, if you've ever got the bus in the city, it stops right there and you look at it, and it just looks out of that particular building, is out of the aesthetic and the world of everything that's being built now. It stands out, as different. Which I love.
It won the Sir John Sulman Medal in 1950. They say that it hides in plain sight, and it served as Top Dog, then Bonds, then Warmwood, then Officeworks, and now the school's owned it. Pretty incredible.
It is incredible, and I hope we keep these structures. I know places like the tram shed at Narrabeen and things that are very, very heritage, but there's still other properties that we have that, it'd be a shame to knock down and rebuild. I'm sure every suburb, Manly in particular, would be, almost every second street, building must have some kind of links to being heritage. But yeah, I really think that it makes up, part of our culture on the beaches, having these properties to remind us, certain iconic places like the old sands that got, pretty much bulldozed and redone, redeveloped for someone that grew up in the area. I found that sad. Like, I just, all the bands used to play there, all the up and coming bands would play there, and now it's just not the same. Like, even the locals will say it's definitely not the same.
Rock Lily.
Oh, the Rock Lily's still there. Oh my God, what an Indian restaurant now. And I thought, I'm coming 3 years into 50. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool for my 50th to like revamp the Rock Lily for one night and have like a massive party like it used to be, and play all the songs and on the dance floor and have everyone turn up? It would be so cool. Yeah, the Rock Lily is another icon of Monavale for me. Definitely, I would love to see that re-established as a nightclub slash bar. It was so cool.
It's what is it about the nostalgia? It's also the nostalgia of the stuff that we're talking about can't actually be repeated on so many levels, because even if you did do the party, smoking laws have changed.
Yeah.
Drinking laws have changed. Security has changed. You know, operating hours. Like there was no operating hours. You just closed when the last person left in that club. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it
Hmm.
was just there's some beautiful nostalgia about these places that can just never be repeated again. They're just frozen in time. What other structures are on the northern beaches?
Hmm. Well, there was one in Manly. It was nicknamed the Manly Mansion. Now, I was trying to find the address last night. I mean, I can see it in my mind, but it was really hard to find on chat. So it has a dome lounge, main lounge room. So it's round and it's, on the way to where is it? The tennis courts there on your right hand side. There's a backpackers a bit further up. Anyway, nickname Manly Mansions. I think it was divided into like 6 rentals, and a girlfriend of mine used to rent the upstairs. And what was so iconic about this place was every bedroom had a fireplace in it. It still stands. So every room has a fireplace, and I thought that was the coolest ever. And the balcony had this wraparound. It has this like sort of wraparound dome shape, and it's so cool, so cool. But yeah, being rented for so many years, it's really taken a toll inside. So the steps creak, the plumbing's bad, like it's really, you know, worn out. But from the outside,
Yeah.
it's just so cool. It's so cool. And locals there nicknamed it the Manly Mansion because it looks like a mansion. But yeah, it's actually, a block of units, essentially. It's been divided up inside.
It's amazing how, in order they wasted space with some of this old architecture to create beauty, and they wasted money to create beauty. So they were. I feel like they were really wasteful, but I feel like that also is what actually made it beautiful. So some of these structures that you see, these older structures, is completely inefficient in today's standards, but the beauty is just never going to be repeated, and you just simply can't afford to build stuff like that these days, to be
Stained
economical. So
glass window in it, the LED stained glass, like so beautiful. And a lot of
yeah,
the properties have those. I used to manage a farmhouse in Jubilee, which was huge, and had been there, I think, since the 50s or 40s. And again, it had 3 kitchens, something like 12 bedrooms, floorboards throughout, hardwood floors. And literally, I don't know, about 6 fireplaces. I remember doing an ingoing there, and it took me something like 5 hours. And you don't have internet in there or any of the mod cons, but you get a wallaby that will come up to the back porch. But if you have a look at it from the outside, again, structurally, it's in its own time. Like, it looks so different to anything else that's built today, and even in the surrounding areas. Um, I did a routine inspection. There was a red-bellied black snake sunbaking itself on the porch that wrapped around this house, and I'd have to somehow navigate to get in. But it was so beautiful inside. Very cold in winter because it was so big, but just the architecture inside, the beams, the cornices, everything was plastered, and it was like a grand house.
never to
Um,
be repeated. Never to be repeated. Before we go, honourable mentions: Manly Wharf, the lost Manly Surf Life Saving Pavilion. Once generally
yeah.
had the modernist surf pavilion on South Stain. The Manly Fun Pier, built for fun in 1931. Built for fun in 31. Warringah Mall, 1963. La Corniche, Monavale. This may be my favourite actually. Brock's Folly, the Oaks, La Corniche Popley, the Brock's Folly, George Brock, 1894. And 2 more that I wanted to mention: the Roche Complex in Cromer, industrialist heritage, very rare to see that. St. Kevin's Catholic Church in DY. Um, Wow, there's just some crackers in there.
Yeah, surprisingly, DY has quite a few architectural marvels that you wouldn't even know. Good old DY.
Under your nose, under your nose. Thanks for today's inspo.
All good. I hope that someone enjoyed that.
Yep, get around and it's something to do with your kids. Take your kids
Totally.
around, show them the top 15 icons in the Northern Beaches. You live in the Northern Beaches, do it.
I definitely will be doing something like that this weekend. See you
Or
guys.
wherever you are in Sydney, there's some beautiful stuff that's just sitting under your nose, guys. See you, Cleo.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, bye, bye.
See you later.
See you, bye.